Hey guys, welcome back to part number 8 of my 32nd scale F-16 build. This is the final part. As you see, my bench is full of stuff, I need to tidy it down. So we're going to basically do a few final touches. I'm going to take a trip to Home Depot and look for a base, and then we're going to do a final reveal. So I mean, it's been a long process over the last few months, but we're finally finished. So sit back and enjoy, and here you go. Okay, so we're really coming along now. It's been a few days since the oils went on. As you can see, it's kind of mellowed and blended in nicely. Really kind of like the finish. I'm getting dirty, kind of grimy kind of look. If I turn the camera light down a little bit, you can kind of see a little bit better how it's kind of all coming together. So you see, I added the gun, no problem at all. I really like the way the metallic kind of really pops compared to all the grey around it. So I'm really glad I had that exposed with the gun in. So really easy, just basically the belt, the ammo belt kind of goes underneath that kind of frame, and it just basically clips in there. I used PVA glue being painted part because I didn't want it to kind of affect any paintwork of extra thin. So it's PVA glued in, good to go. And yeah, there's the underside looking really good. So before I damage it any further, let me push this out of the way. Now I'm working on some of the smaller parts. So you guys can see this kind of smorgasbord I got here. So basically things like the nose cone, that's prime. This all the stuff is prime, ready to paint. Inside is painted white. We're gonna have this open with a radar. So nose cone's done. We've got the doors. Fortunately, with the inside's painted white, the outside shadow coated, ready for the paint for the light ghost grey. Fortunately, with the F-16, there's not tons of doors for the wheel wells. I think it's just a handful, so it makes it easier. The wheels have been painted. The hubs. We have the rubber tires with this one. I don't have any resin wheels, so we will be going to rubber tires in the kit. Also the frame for the canopy, it should be black, painted up, and speed brakes and other little bits and bobs there, ready for paint. And a couple more of the main wheel hubs, main gear. And if you guys think I forgot this, I haven't. This is the front of the intake. Painting this one separately just because this should be a the gray, light ghost grey color. And the intake's white, so rather than having to mask it, it's easier to just paint it separately and then just super glue it on. I mean, you have the perfect line of the color change between the white and the grey. That's why we're doing it separately. So that too. So that's the main stuff going on. Basically now, like I say, working on getting all this painted up. Once it's painted up, we can get the wheels on, finish the gear, and then flip it over and carry on with the rest of the stuff, the lights and all that kind of other little bits and bobs. So for now, I'm just going to paint this stuff when it's dry, get it all painted up, and then we'll start working on the rest. Yeah. So I've got the wheels on, no problems at all, and the landing bay doors are on. There's only 3 of them, so it's super easy on this jet. Not tons of struts, that kind of stuff. So they're all super glued on, no problem at all. Went ahead and put all the ordnance on, which we did earlier, and I'm very glad I did this earlier on the build. If I got to this stage, I had to then go spend all these hours doing weathering and painting all these missiles and stuff, I'll probably kind of lose the mojo a little bit. So I'm glad I did that early on in the build. Looking really good now. The drop tanks fit in no problem at all. These 2 larger ones here on the middle pylons, they kind of fell out. There wasn't a very good fit, so I just used a little bit of super glue and just stuck them in. I'm not going to keep pulling them out or anything, so that's fine. The 2 on the outer pylons here, they fit in okay, no glue. This end one here on the end of the wing, it's a little loose. I super glued that one on too. I'm not going to keep pulling it off. On this one, I've lost one of the pins on the carpet, so I need to get a little bit of wire or just figure something out to get that one on the other side too. Then we'll be good to go. Also, the radar's on. Again, I don't want to pick this up and move around much because it's pretty fragile right now. Just glued the radar in, tilts and stuff, pretty cool. And a nose cone, and actually even slots back and closes, which is really nice. So, like I say, I'm having this one open, so I'm gonna have the nose cone open like this. Radar tilted slightly. Yeah, coming together really well. Put speed brakes on. Tails on. Tails obviously a loose fit, just clips on and off to help with traveling and moving around and stuff. But yeah, really liking how it's looking. So what I got left to do? Pretty much lights. I'm trying to think what else. Lights and a few little antennas and stuff. And then I think we're calling it a day. canopy's done too, with the inside done, so that just really slots on. It fits in like that. I'm not going to do it right now, obviously, because I'll do it to the very end, because I don't want to break anything or crack the canopy. So yeah, not much work left in this anymore. I think I've got a boarding ladder to build as well. So I've got a boarding ladder to build, a couple of chocks to build, and just a few little aerials and pitot tubes and lights and that kind of stuff. Final little touches, and then we're done. So not much work at all. So just want to come back, give you a quick update where I'm at. It's not really nothing to show you guys. Really just go put instructions. The wheels are screwed on. Pretty self-explanatory, so not really much to show there. But yeah, see it's looking really nice. Really happy how it's turning out, and I'm in the final stretch. So let me finish on these next couple of days. I'll finish on these last couple of details, and we'll come back, and we're almost ready for a final reveal. Okay, we're really making great progress. So another day or two has passed. I've got the lights on back here. You can see one thing is it tells you to color the underside of the light silver, which I did, but it kind of looks very kind of silver and bright. I think in hindsight I maybe just leave it as a plastic color, the clear glass. Done that. Got the lights on the side, the little aerials, antennas, the pitot tube. One thing with the design on this too is the pitot tube is very close to the where the nose opens, so to be very careful. I don't think it just slides just above it. Put the lights on the side, red and green on side, and pretty much it. It's hard to move around. This thing is really, really heavy. It's ridiculously heavy. It has that big metal nose weight, and just to pick this thing up and turn it upside down, it's kind of really hard holding the hand where you actually add things to the underside. But nevertheless, we're going pretty good. Also painted the little bracket black for the goes inside the cockpit to keep the canopy up. There's two different ones. You don't glue them in. They just kind of slot in. So you've got one for an open canopy and one for a closed canopy. It's just this one's extended. There you go. So maybe focus a little better there. So that just slots in the back here, and then the canopy rests on top of it. So that's painted. Also painted the boarding ladder green. I just used regular dark green. What did I use? Just used XF61 dark green. And yeah, so this ladder is painted now, and I just need to chip it up and make it a little bit worn. It basically just sits on the side like that. And we're in really good shape. So there's not a lot of like lights and antennas and little bumps and bumps on this one. Some kits you have tons. There's very, very rare, very few on this F-16, to be honest with you. So it makes it a little bit easier to finish it up. So all I've really got left to do, I think, is obviously put the canopy on, weather up the ladder. I've painted the little chocks that come with the set, and then I've got the static discharges that go on, 3 on each wing and 2 on the horizontal stabilizers. So it's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. Comes with little metal kind of pieces. The perfect thing with this to use is actually bristles from a broom. If you got like an old broom, like black bristles, just cut them off and stick them on the back here, like maybe like 5 mil long. It's perfect. I don't have one of those. I do have some really, really thin plasticard, like strips and stuff, which I might use, so I'll investigate that. So I'll get those on, get that weathered up, and then we're almost finished. Very, very close. I'd say probably less than an hour's work on this, and we're done. One thing I do want to do as well is I want to go to a hardware store and get a piece of wood or some kind of base for this, about the size of the aircraft, and I'm just going to spray paint it black and sit it on here, because it's going to be, because it's open, I want make it easier to move. So I want on the black base, and I'm going to add obviously the engine kind of sitting next to it on the dolly, and with chocks on, and then you get remove before flight tags with this kit too, so we'll add those on to the appropriate places as well, and then we'll call this one done. So yeah, that's my update. I'll keep on working, getting these last few little jobs done, and then we'll be ready for the final reveal. Okay, so I'm out on location here at Home Depot. So I'm trying to find myself a base. So I measured it. It wants to be about 18 by 13 is the perfect. So these kind of guys come in 12-inch wide, so I could cut a $9 a foot. So I guess I could cut a little bit off. Be about $10, $15. This stuff's all too thin. This I picked out as well. It's only $6.57 a square foot. But again, it's 12 inches wide, so it'll be a little narrower, but poplar board. But actually over here, some options as well. So these are all 4 by 2 foot, so I could cut one of these down. MDF. Plywood. This is a little thin, maybe. Pegboard. You know, this would work. This is 4 by 2 foot chalk and marker board, $6.28. It's quite heavy. So one side's black, like a chalkboard, which is what I want, like a black surface, and the other side is a shiny whiteboard. You get all of this just for $6.28. So I think I can get this and have the guy here cut it down to what I need. It's about, you know, a square and with the black on the upper side, and that's perfect for $6. And then I probably get like tons more bases out of this to cut at home. I probably get, especially 72nd scale, 48. So this is a good find. So I'm gonna get this, and spoiler alert, I know with tax it comes to $6.66, so it's quite an ironic number, but this stuff right here is what I'm going for. So yeah, that should work good. So I'll get this cut down, get it back home, and then get the jet on and see how it looks. Right, so back from the hardware store, and I think that was a success. $6.66, and I got not only this base, but I got tons more. So spent so much time in this aircraft, I didn't want to go ahead and spend weeks or days doing custom base and painting it up and stuff. I just wanted something very simple, just to kind of display it all on. So I just plunked it down, but you see it fits perfectly. 18 by 13. This stuff is really kind of strong too with the whiteboard part, so it doesn't bend or anything, even though it's so thin. So I really just wanted something very simple just to kind of mount it on, so I can just move it around without touching it. Move around like put on top of a shelf or a bookcase or something. So yeah, so I need to play around a little bit how I'm going to configure it, where I'm going to put the engine, that kind of stuff. But big success. So again, $6.66. Happy with how that turned out, and I've got tons of it left over for future projects as well, which I can cut up. So yeah, very happy. So yep, now I'll get back to working on finishing this off, and then we'll get ready again for the final reveal, which I keep teasing for the last few minutes, I guess. Right, so I put the static discharges on. Like I said, it comes with little metal pieces. Actually, it's so tiny, you're probably not going to see it. See, it's kind of stuck on my end. So tight. These little metal pieces. What I have, which I use this all the time, it's really handy. This 1/2 mil rod from Evergreen. Is it Evergreen? Yeah. And it's this one right here, which is number 218. This lasts forever. I use it all the time, and if I remember rightly, I think I used the same stuff for the static discharges on my 32nd scale MiG I built earlier this year, the MiG-29. So super easy. So I basically using the metal piece as a guide, which about 1/2 mil. I just put the strip up against it, and then just with a knife, sharp knife, just cut the pieces, 10 pieces I needed, and dipped in a little bit of super glue, and just stuck them to the back, 3 on each wing and 2 on each of the horizontal stabilizers. So I'm gonna let that dry, the glue dry for an hour, just make sure it's not gonna fall off, and then I'll come back and I'm gonna paint that black, hand paint them black, all 10 of them, and then we should be good to go. So here it is. Here's the finished model a little bit closer up. We're inside the house, so it does look a little bit darker. I did take some pictures outside, which I'll put after this with the camera, which will kind of give it maybe a better look kind of than what you see on the camera here. But yeah, so mounted it on that really cool piece of chalkboard and whiteboard I found at Home Depot, real cheap. I had a piece cut off. Just wanted something simple. Wasn't going crazy with the on this one for the base. I just wanted something really where I could just move the whole thing around without touching it, and also have obviously with that engine separate, just kind of keep it all together. So did come with like a little nameplate in photo etch. Came with the set. As I mentioned, everything is out of the box. This is what you get in the kit. You can get the chocks, the removable flight tags, you name it, you get everything in here. The only thing I added was obviously the decals, which I went for the Op Resonate North or Op Northern Watch insignia. So yep, the engine can be in or out. I've got a little dolly. All this is just glued down with some PVA glue, so it can't move. You can easily, with a little bit of pressure, easily pull it all off and move it around, and no problem at all. It just really just tacks it down so it doesn't kind of wobble around. These removable flight tags are very kind of delicate, so I'm sure if I move it around ever slightly, they're probably going to fall off. But nevertheless, let's kind of move it around. So decided to open up best I could. So didn't have the panel on. I got the gun exposed, which really kind of pops metallic against all the greys. I should point out how I painted it. So I used Lacquer Paints Attacker, which I thought the colours were actually spot on for the top and the middle grey, and the underside I used the light ghost grey. I had open LP37 Tamiya, so I just went with that. Weathered up using Floyd Models Dark Dirt Wash for the panel lines, and then came in with some smoke coloured Appetite Neat oils for the just kind of like add some weathering, you see some certain streaks and some accentuating some panel lines, that kind of stuff. Let's move it around slightly more. Engine, did a whole video on that, multitude of metallic paints and various things I used for that one too. It's kind of neat because the nose cone does open and the radar does tilt and stuff. The radar's a tricky color. The instructions were completely wrong, whatever it gave me. I can't remember what the color call out was, but look at my reference material, it's kind of like a goldy green. So I used gold paint with like a double dash of green, which got me a really good color, I think, compared to what my pictures kind of looked at like. And talking about nose cone, you have to see it closes up and pushes in. I don't want to do it and damage anything, so I'm just leaving it open for now. The ordnance was all, that took a long time, probably at least 10 if not 20 hours of work on that. The fuel tanks and the weapons, that's a big part, almost like a project in itself. Weathered up the fuel tanks a lot, because these are really always worn, so I've seen in real life. Just move it around slightly. Yeah. Oh, the only other thing I used too was aftermarket. Was I found the cockpit was a little bit lacking. It didn't really have the instruments on the instrument panel, which is surprising. You get all this stuff in the box, but you didn't get like little decals to the instruments. So I used air scale. To be honest, I think a lot of them I used actually were 48 scale because I found they just felt that they just kind of fit better in the bezel compared to the 32nd scale ones. So I used a few dials here and there just kind of spice it up. I'm not going to really show you inside it, it's going to be too tricky, especially now it's mounted on the cardboard, on the wood. It's going to be hard to kind of get the camera in and show you the inside the cockpit. And just going around again, that huge logo on the side, the Northern Watch Inslick Turkey. And I kind of like this too. The light's kind of picking this up, maybe a little bit shinier than it is, but it's not completely flat. It does have a very slight satin finish. Again, when you see my pictures after this, you'll see that the kind of how it turned out a little bit better, probably even this artificial light in-house. And again, yep, this comes off, and if you want to put the engine in, however you want it, it's all painted up and detailed inside the engine bay too. And that is it. I mean, it's been a lot of work, a labor of love. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a fantastic kit. It's worth every penny, but it does take a lot of work. You've got to have time commitment. As regards to beginner building this, I'd say probably no. I mean, you could build it, but because of the price point and what's in the kit, I think to really appreciate it, you need at least a few kits under your belt, so you can actually at least get paint down and weathering, all that kind of the basic stuff, and then you can attempt this kit. I think if you're just a beginner and this is your first ever kit, I mean, you could sure build it no problem, but when it comes to detail painting and weathering and stuff, I don't think you could probably do it justice, to be honest with you. So I think you'd still need at least a few kits under your belt. In terms of the best 32nd scale kit I've not built a lot, but it's up there. I really enjoyed the Tamiya Corsair, the F4. That was, I think it was the Corsair, the F4. That was a really interesting and enjoyable build. And I also really thoroughly enjoyed the Trumpeter MiG-29. That was a fantastic build too. The problem are with these kits, they're fantastic, but they're so big. As you can see, it takes a lot of space up. This board is 18 by 13. So yeah, just knowing where to put them, I guess. So yeah, that is really it. So hopefully you enjoyed following through the build series. Like I say, I'm going to put a few pictures up right now after this, some still shots so you can see a little bit better. But yeah, thanks as always for watching and following along, and hope to see you next time. So again, my name is Richie, and see you later. Goodbye.